Americans should no longer use two popular antibody drugs because they do not protect against COVID's Omicron variant. That's the new guidance from the FDA. The agency just scrapped its emergency use authorization for monoclonal antibody treatments made by both Regeneron and Eli Lilly. FDA officials say they could reauthorize the medicines if they prove to be effective against future variants. Nationwide, millions of people have already received these antibody drugs, and several Republican governors have made the treatments a focal point of their COVID responses. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis calls the move to halt these drugs sudden and reckless.
This is not the way, that you help people. And our view is people have a right to access these treatments, and to revoke it on this basis is just fundamentally wrong, and we're going to fight back.
Florida has now shut down all of its antibody treatment sites. Governor DeSantis says the state canceled more than 2,000 appointments just today. CNBC's Meg Terrell covers science and medicine for us. Meg, break down the data, if you could. Are these antibody drugs effective at all?
Well, Shep, they were very effective against most of the previous variants. But once Omicron emerged, it became clear they don't work against it. Both the companies and multiple academic researchers came to this conclusion independently by looking at whether the antibodies can block Omicron from infecting cells in the lab. As Regeneron put it in a statement, its drug, quote, does not work against Omicron in lab tests, which tells us that, unfortunately, it is also not going to work in people infected with this variant. Eli Lilly adds its own studies, quote, confirm that its drugs are not effective at treating the currently predominant Omicron variant. Knowing that, both the companies and the FDA say it doesn't make sense to continue using these drugs, now that Omicron makes up 99.9% of new COVID cases in the U.S., according to new data today from the CDC. Now, the FDA says it could allow use of the drugs again if the variant makeup shifts, and it's likely they'd work against what's circulating. We've actually seen it do this before with the Lilly drug, which didn't retain activity against the beta and gamma variants. Now, both the companies say they've already begun work on next-generation drugs that will work against Omicron and other variants of concern. Regeneron says it's in the process of preparing to begin human trials of its medicine, while Lilly says an FDA review of its application for its new drug is ongoing. For now, though, it means treatment options are limited. There is still one antibody drug authorized for treatment called sotrovimab that retains efficacy against Omicron, as well as the antiviral pills from Pfizer and Merck. But supplies, of course, of all of those are short.
And Meg, Pfizer just announced it's starting trials for a vaccine that targets Omicron. What do we know?
Yeah, so from the time that Omicron was identified, we know that the company started working on developing a vaccine to target it just in case it's needed. Now they've designed and developed it and started a clinical trial. So they're planning to test it in 3 ways: as the primary series and boost for people who haven't yet been vaccinated, and as a 3rd dose and 4th dose for people who got the original vaccine. They're also testing a 4th dose of the original shot as well. So all of this should provide information they can then bring to the FDA and other public health agencies to help figure out next steps for the vaccine.
Meg Terrell, thank you. Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.